The Water Margin, Chapter 12.
So let's get right into the action, because it starts with a bang. Lin Chong is out on a patrol for his new gang, and he just runs headfirst into a fight.
And the setting is perfect. There's still snow and ice on the ground, and the description of his opponent is just fantastic.
Tell us about him.
Well, the sources make a huge deal of his size. He's massive, maybe 7.5 feet tall, and he gets his name, the Blue-Faced Beast, from this big, distinctive blue mark on his face.
And his gear. He's not just some random traveler.
No, not at all. He's got a Fan Yang felt hat, a white satin military uniform, deerskin socks, cowhide boots. He looks like a professional soldier who's maybe fallen on hard times.
And he's armed. He's got a waist knife and that really imposing pu dao.
Right, that huge, long-handled weapon. And the clash with Lin Chong is just, it's immediate and it's ferocious.
They go for 40 rounds.
40 rounds,
Yeah.
30, and then another 10. And the text says they were not dividing victory or defeat. They were perfectly matched.
You can almost feel it. Sources talk about 2 streams of killing aura. I mean, this is top-tier stuff.
And the craziest part is what they're fighting over. It's a pack of goods that they're basically arguing over who stole it from whom first.
Right, so who breaks it up?
The outlaw leaders do. Wang Lin, the white-clothed scholar, he steps in with his lieutenants, Duqian and Song Wan, and it's Wang Lin who recognizes the guy.
And he reveals his identity. Yang Zi. But there's more to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
The name comes with some serious history.
Oh, yeah. This isn't just some tough guy. Yang Zi claims he's descended from 3 generations of generals. He's the grandson of the legendary 5 marquises, Yang Linglong.
So he's military aristocracy.
He is. And that lineage, that's everything. It explains his pride, his absolute belief in the imperial system, and it perfectly sets up the tragedy that's about to unfold.
Okay, so if he's the descendant of famous generals, what is he doing out here in the wilderness, fighting outlaws over a bag of gold?
That's the core question, isn't it? It all goes back to this massive failure that just completely torpedoed his career. He used to be a palace commandery officer. You can think of him as a sort of high-level logistics man for the court.
And he was given a very specific, very notorious task.
He was, transporting the flour and stone shipment, the Huaxi gang.
And we should probably pause on that, because the Huaxi gang wasn't just some delivery job. It was a huge deal.
It was a symbol of total imperial excess. The Emperor Huizong was this great artist, but a terrible ruler, and he wanted to build this massive garden, the 10,000 Years Mountain.
So he ordered these giant decorative rocks and exotic plants from all over the country.
Exactly. Dragged all the way up the Grand Canal to the capital. It was a project that caused immense suffering, forced labor, extortion, chaos. It was hated.
And Yang Zi was one of the guys in charge of a shipment.
One of 10, yeah. And the sources say he had unlucky timing, but the bottom line is his boat capsized in the Yellow River. He lost everything.
Which, for the Emperor's pet project, is basically an unforgivable screw-up.
Completely. He had to flee to avoid being executed on the spot. He became a fugitive.
But something changed, right? He got a break.
He did. A general pardon was issued, which meant he could legally return to the capital, to Beijing, or Tokyo, as it's also called.
So he's not going to be killed, but his career is still in ruins.
Right. He has his life, but not his status. So his whole plan, the reason he needed that pack of money, was to go back to the capital and, well, bribe his way back into his old job.
Specifically at the Bureau of Military Affairs, the Shu Mi Wan.
He thinks with his family name and his skill, a few well-placed bribes should do the trick.
And this is where the outlaw chief, Wang Lun, steps in with some very pragmatic advice.
Wang Lun sees the world for what it is. He immediately tries to recruit Yang Zi. He tells him, look, that pardon is worthless.
Why?
Because the man in charge now, High Marshal Gao Qiu, will never let you back in. Gao Qiu is purging the old guard, and Yang Zi is the definition of old guard.
It's a really compelling offer from Wang Lun, too. He even suggests making Yang Zi a co-leader, a rival to Lin Chong.
It's a chance at a new life with status and respect. But Yang Zi, he just can't do it. He's trapped by his own code.
Why does he refuse? What are his reasons?
Well, there's a practical one first. A relative of his got in trouble because of his mess, and he feels he has to go back to Tokyo to clear that person's name.
Okay, that makes sense.
But the real reason, the deep reason, is his honor. He talks about maintaining a clear and white name. He still believes desperately that he can use his skills on the frontier, win glory for the empire, and honor his ancestors.
He chooses the system that already broke him over the outlaws offering him a future.
Exactly. It's the critical moment. So he goes to Tokyo. He uses every last coin he has to bribe his way up the chain of command just to get an audience with Gao Q himself.
And this meeting is where his hope just completely dies.
It's even worse than Wang Lin predicted. Gao Qi pulls up the old files and just gets enraged.
But why? It was just a boating accident.
It was never about the boat. It was political. Yang Zi represented the old military families, the exact people Gao Qi wanted to push out to consolidate his own power.
So Yang Zi was a symbol.
A living symbol. And Gao Qi just sneers at him. He points out that 9 of the other 10 officials came back and reported their failure. Only Yang Zi ran.
He uses that against him.
Viciously. He says a pardon for a crime is not the same as a recommendation for reemployment, and he just dismisses him. A warrior who fought Lin Chang to a standstill, thrown out like a dog.
That's devastating. And after all that effort, all that money...
You see his reaction in the text. He leaves and he finally realizes Wang Lin was right all along. He calls Gao Q too venomous and mean-spirited.
There's a poem about it, isn't there?
There is, and
Yeah.
it sums up the whole tragedy perfectly. Early knowing power holds sway in court, better joining in the righteousness of the woods.
He sees it, but way too late.
Way too late. This system didn't just fail him, it was designed to crush him.
And now his ambition is gone, his money is gone, and he's completely broken the capital, which leads to this ultimate humiliation.
He's desperate. He has to sell the last thing of value he owns, his ancestral saber, the very symbol of his family's honor.
So he goes to the marketplace, to a place called Horse Street.
Right, the Ma Hangji.
Yeah.
He puts a straw marker on it to show it's for sale, and he waits. For 2 hours, nobody even asks.
So he moves to a busier spot, Tiananmen Bridge.
And this is where the story shifts from, high-level political evil to just low, grimy, street-level chaos.
What happens?
All of a sudden, people start screaming and running away. They're shouting, "Hide, the great tiger is coming."
A tiger in the middle of the capital city?
It sounds absurd, right? And Yang Ji is baffled. He just came from dealing with a political predator, and now he's thinking, how can there be a literal tiger here?
But it's not an animal.
No, the great tiger is a person. A notorious local thug named Niu or Cao Tu. His nickname is the Hairless Great Tiger.
And the description of this guy is something else.
Oh, it's vivid. He's described as looking vaguely like a ghost, perhaps like a person. He's this drunken, stumbling bully with a foul smell, shark-like skin, and coiled, messy hair.
And the key thing is, he's so violent that the local authorities, the Kaifeng prefecture, they can't even control him.
Exactly. He is the new apex predator of the streets. So you have this perfect, tragic collision.
Yeah, the noble warrior, Yang Zi, who just got crushed by the most powerful man in the military,
Gao Q.
is now face-to-face with the filthiest bully on the street, Niu all because he's trying to sell his last piece of dignity. And he needs a specific amount, right? 3,000 strings of cash just to survive. So he sets up to sell it right there in the capital.
Right in the middle of everything.
He's asking for 3,000 strings of cash.
And a price that big is, of course, going to attract the absolute worst kind of attention in the city.
So Niu sees this price, and he immediately smells an opportunity. He mocks Yang Ji, right?
Yeah.
He says something like, why pay 3,000 when I can get a knife for 30 cash to cut meat and tofu?
He just dismisses it, calls it common white iron.
And Yang Zi, whose entire life now hangs on this one sale, is forced into this desperate, very public sales pitch.
Yeah.
He has to prove what makes this a treasure sword.
This is where he has to demonstrate its worth, not just, talk about it.
So quality number 1, durability. The claim is it can chop copper and slice through iron without the blade even dulling.
Which sounds impossible.
I mean, I would be terrified to even watch that test. And Niu, of course, calls his bluff instantly. He grabs a stack of 20 cash copper coins, puts them on a railing, and says, show me.
And Yang Ji, this highly skilled former officer, he just delivers.
Yeah.
One clean, precise strike. And he cuts the entire stack of coins perfectly in half.
Wow.
It's this immediate theatrical display of incredible skill. And the crowd just erupts because they've seen this undeniable proof.
But get this, Niu is completely unfazed. He just moves right on to the second test.
The hair test. The Chuamal de Guo.
He literally pulls hair from his own head. I mean, that is some dedication to being a public nuisance.
It really is. So Yang Ji takes the hairs, he just blows them onto the blade's edge.
And they're cleanly sliced in two, just from the air pressure and the sharpness of the steel.
The crowd is stunned again. I mean, the sword is undeniably a masterpiece at this point.
But the third quality, this is the real flashpoint. This is what seals Niu's fate and completely changes Yang Zi's life. the blood this killing.
Right. Yang Ji claims the sword is so fast, so sharp, it leaves no blood when it kills.
And Niuer, being the menace he is, demands a live demonstration.
On a person.
Yeah.
Right now.
This just shifts everything, doesn't it? It goes from a display of fine craftsmanship to a direct moral and legal challenge.
Completely. And Yang Ji, for all his desperation, he's still a man of the court. He was an official. He refuses to kill a person, of course, not right there in the capital.
So he suggests a compromise, killing a dog.
And Niuer just shuts him down, famously says, "You said killing a person, not killing a dog, and that's it. The negotiation is over."
He doesn't want to buy it anymore.
No, he's going to steal it.
The clash is just bound to happen. You have these two men representing opposite ends of a social breakdown.
Right.
Disgraced elite skill versus untouchable street violence.
Niuer grabs for the sword, physically tries to wrench it away. Yang Ji pushes him, but Niuer attacks. He throws a punch.
And this is where the narrative just snaps. Yang Ji dodges, he draws the sword, and in a moment the sources call extreme rage, he strikes.
He stabs him first at the root of the skull, a lethal, immediate blow.
And then 2 more times in the chest. Niuer dies instantly, blood everywhere. It's a cold-blooded, public, triple stabbing.
But what's so crucial for Yang Zi's survival is what he does next. He doesn't run.
No, he stands over the body and he demands the neighbors act as witnesses. He makes them testify that Niuer attacked him first and tried to steal the knife.
And then he walks straight to the Kaifeng prefecture and turns himself in.
Which is a very sophisticated legal move.
Yeah.
But what's even more fascinating is the public reaction. He commits a murder and the entire city starts a GoFundMe to make sure he has a comfortable trip to exile.
That is exactly what happens. The sources say the townspeople were just relieved. In their eyes, Yang Zi had removed a neighborhood pest.
So they flood the court with testimony on his behalf.
They see him as a hero, someone who did the dirty work the court was too weak to do. They start pooling Money Lizzie Zaipan Chan, and they even send him food in prison.
That is just incredible social power. But let's stop on the most absurd detail here. He stabbed this man 3 times, including at the base of the skull. How do the sources possibly justify calling that accidental injury during a fight?
Well, that's the key insight into the judicial system of the time, isn't it? Because Yang Zi surrendered, and maybe more importantly, because Niuer's family had no accusers.
Meaning no one cared enough about him to push for a harsh penalty.
Exactly. So the judges had license to be pragmatic. They classified it as accidental injury, not intentional murder. Look, it wasn't an accident, but legally, it served a purpose. It removed a liability while acknowledging Yang Zi's skill and his cooperation.
So the system basically rewarded a murder because the victim was a detriment to public order.
In a way, yes. So the final verdict reflects that strange social negotiation. 60 days of waiting, 20 strokes of the rod, 2 lines of branding on his face, and then exile with a military assignment to Beijing Daming Prefecture.
So now he's a branded convict, but he's alive and he has a destination.
And the sword, the whole cause of the mess, is the only thing truly lost. It's confiscated by the state.
But the public goodwill didn't stop at the sentence, did it?
Not at all. They kept looking out for him. They raised enough money to basically pay off his 2 escorts, Zhang Long and Zhao Hu, to make sure they treated him well on the journey.
That's just amazing. Practical compassion.
It is. Yang Zi uses that money to buy his escorts food and drinks the whole way, and he even buys ointment for the wounds he got from the rod punishment.
And the escorts, now seeing him as this good man sponsored by the city, they promise to look after him.
They ensure his safe arrival, which brings him to his destination. Beijing Daming Prefecture. This is a new world and a huge pivot point for him.
And this region is governed by a man named Liang Zhongshu.
Who has immense political capital. He holds massive civil and military power.
And even more importantly, he's the son-in-law of the notoriously powerful Grand Tutor Kai Jing.
That's the key connection. So Yang Zi has gone from a desperate street vendor to landing under the protection of a true political power broker with connections straight to the top of the empire.
And Liang Zhongshu recognizes him.
He does from his time in Tokyo. And he's immediately impressed. He hears the whole story, self-reported, the disgrace, the attempted sale, the, let's say, necessary killing of the ruffian, and the immediate surrender.
And Liang Zhongshu doesn't see a criminal.
No, he sees high pedigree talent who had a run of bad luck and showed exceptional skill. He immediately orders the heavy neck cane removed and keeps Yang Ji in his attendance.
Just a miraculous second chance, based entirely on his reputation and skill.
Mhm.
But promoting him, even with a powerful patron, can't be simple.
Not in a structured military hierarchy. Liang Zhongshu wants to make him a vice battalion commander, offer him a salary, but he's worried about dissent from his existing officers.
They'd be insulted, right? A branded convict just jumping the line.
Exactly. It raises this question of legitimacy. How do you integrate a Zaipei Jana-branded convict into your command structure without offending the established military men?
The answer is pure theatrics.
A public performance review. Liang Zhongshu orders a grand military review on Yanwu Shiyi for the very next day.
And the stage for this is magnificent. It's at the East Suburb Gate Training Grounds. All the top brass are there.
Including 2 supervisory commanders, Li Cheng and Wen Da, who are described as having the courage to withstand 10,000 men. The tension must have been incredible.
So Yang Zi is formally called out. The challenge is set. He has to compete against the current vice battalion commander, a man named Zhu Jin.
If Yang Zi wins, he gets the job. He gets the salary.
And he confirms his pedigree, right?
Yeah.
Trained in the 18 martial arts, he vows his loyalty.
He's given a full set of armor and equipment. But the real drama is Zhu Jin, the officer he's challenging. The man is absolutely furious that this newcomer, this branded convict, dares to challenge his position.
So the duel is set to begin with a spear comparison. The whole incident, which started with him desperately trying to prove a sword's worth on the street,
has now transformed into an official martial arts competition that will decide if he gets redemption or faces more exile.